is Antti Kontio, and I've been working for Munifin for the last 9 years. So I could easily say that I have a nice experience out of the funding activities that I have been doing for 9 years. But the latest addition is the environmental topics, the green bonds that I started to do 3 years ago. And that is really something new for me. I think it's new for all of us. So if I would have my safety box here, I'm definitely out of my comfort zone at the moment. But I guess this just tells the story about green bonds, that we are all learning how we should approach this topic, and the learning curve is pretty steep for all of us. Currently, most of my time is going, actually because I'm responsible for the corporate responsibility issues on a company level. So environmental topics, of course, that's one area which is of course very important, but most of my time now is going to the social aspect. So we are trying to understand our social responsibility in the Finnish environment, and that is something I think in the future it's going to be more and more related to the corporate responsibility. It's not only the environmental topics, but we need to build the picture so that we understand all the different aspects, because anyway the investors, they are looking at the ESG topics. So in these 15 minutes I'm not trying to tell you everything, but I try to give you an example how we have approached the green bond topic in Finland. But before I can go to that, I think it would be good to just go through few points about Munifin, because I think most of you are perhaps not so familiar with our company. So we are the second largest financial institution in Finland. The total assets about 34 billion, and the size of the lending book is about 20 billion euros. In a normal market conditions, we wouldn't be doing profits, but because of the regulation, we need to increase our own capital, and for the last 5 years we have been doing that. But in a normal market conditions, we would be doing zero profit. Then if we look at our lending book, this is important because when you look at the lending book, you see the areas where we are concentrated. So if we take a look at the assets that we are able to finance as green, they need to be somehow related to this book. Here you can see the housing corporations, so sustainable buildings, that is a natural thing for us. And then when it comes to the municipalities, we have different kind of projects there, but they are mainly related to public transportation, sustainable buildings, and then also water and wastewater management. So these 3 areas are definitely the focus in our green area as well. Then moving on to the funding, I'm not gonna spend too much time here. So green bonds, it's still a very small amount what we do at the moment. We just issued our first green bond, which was, by the way, the first Finnish green bond, and we are very proud to be the first issuer from Finland to do that. Now going forward, we estimate we'll be able to issue at least 1 green bond per year. And if we look at the development in our green assets, I would be quite comfortable to say that we will be able to do that. But just to give you the idea that green bonds, it's only a small part of our business currently, but we see that growing in the future. I think Björn, you mentioned that about 15 to 20% is the number you are targeting to have green assets out of your total lending book. I think it's similar for us. So going forward, we see definitely increase on that side. Then moving on to the green bond side, we started this project about 3 years ago, and we went to see our customers at that time, and we presented the idea that we have this new product we would like to start to offer you. Are you interested? And their first question was that, is there any kind of financial incentive for us? If we need to provide you more data, more information out of these projects, why should we do it as green when we can actually do it easier the way how we have done it in the past? and get the same kind of funding cost. So the only chance we had actually was that we needed to offer a financial advantage for the municipalities, and that's why we offer a margin discount. So this discount goes up to 10 basis points depending on the greenness of the project. And we have been very happy to introduce that because it costs us, that's the reality, but then also we have been able to win some of the cases we would not have been able to win without this product. So I would say that the all in all net impact is pretty much zero. We also have framework in place, of course, like the other issuers do, and we have the second opinion by Cicero. We just released our first impact report from year 2016. It was the first year we started to provide green financing for our customers, so the report is not very comprehensive yet, but I think it's a good starting point, and it's definitely something that the markets are looking for. Then if you look at our eligible project categories, that's also very in line with the other issuers, so it's built up with the green bond principles. But here definitely the sustainable buildings together with the public transportation, they will be in the most important role. We also have this green loan committee in place on the same way as Commune Invest has, because we don't have in-house knowledge. My background is in finance, which tells you that I have absolutely no idea how I should approach these impact topics. So that's why we wanted to have people who actually have competence, who can say that this project can be seen as green. We also feel that because we have this external committee who is responsible for deciding if it's green or not, so that's also a very good topic. Then talking about the green bond development, it's been developing very nicely. As you can see, we currently have about 700 million assets outstanding, and it's quite heavily concentrated in the public transportation, but then also on the sustainable buildings, and we have a very small position also in the waste and wastewater management. And this is the final slide I would like to go through, perhaps the most important slide. I just wanted to emphasize here the topics that we are actually discussing in Finland at the moment, and this applies of course to the city of Helsinki, but also to other clients that we do have. First of all, the role of the central government. I see a very low likelihood for the central government or the Republic of Finland to issue a green bond. The reason for that is that in Finland we have a two-tier system, so we only have the central government and the local government, meaning that most of the service production is brought into the local level. And this also means that the municipalities are holding most of these assets, especially the buildings and all that. So the central government, it would be very difficult for them to find the projects. And we feel that we are in a central role to be issuing the green bonds also in the future. Then we have been talking about how the process between green lending has been changing over the past years. So if the lending process has finally been gone so that usually it's the financial person who decides for the loan, now we also need the cooperation with the Department of Environment. And this is something new for the Finnish municipalities, and we have been trying to train them, but it takes some time for them to get there. But we are on the right track there. Then when it comes to sustainable buildings, as you know, our balance sheet is quite heavily concentrated on the buildings. There is a lot of discussion now, what is green, what is not, so what is a green building? And we have this approach that it needs to be at least 25%, or it needs to consume at least 25% less energy in order to be that. But then when we go 5 years forward, that becomes the baseline. So then what is a green building at that point? So that's very ongoing topic. Then the pricing of the green bonds is also a challenge, especially in the Nordic countries. The issuers are not large, so we are not able to issue 1 billion or in euros or dollars, which means that there is always some kind of liquidity premium in place. And now many banks, they keep saying that the green bonds, they are actually trading tighter than the normal bonds, but this is not really the case. At least what we have seen is that the green bond is trading above our yield curve, which is not ideal. So there should need to be some kind of incentive for the issuers to continue. This could be in a form of taxes, tax incentives, something like that from the government. But let's see in the future. But that's definitely a topic we need to raise more attention to. And then finally, the positive things here on the right side. I think green bonds, they are excellent in building a brand value for the company. Then of course media attention is really good. It's also for the customers as well as for the issuer, so not only for us. And then also on the funding side, you are able to diversify your operations. So when we sum up everything, the costs and the benefits together, I think the net present value is definitely positive, and at least we are very comfortable in continuing this also in the future. Thank you.